Hey, Ascend Youth Ministries. This is Scott Meadows, and hopefully by now that you know that I am your interim youth pastor for the next year, hopefully. So I'm glad to be with you today. I just want to share a little bit with you about what's going on in my life. My work sent me home to work from home for the next 30 days, and man, I set up a little makeshift workshop or office space in the basement, and sometimes I don't even know what time it is. So that's pretty rough. And then, I got to thinking, is I'm got all these ideas for the youth group and what we're going to do on Sunday nights and all these different things that's going to be coming up, and how am I really going to stay connected with everybody? And it kind of is a little overwhelming with this quarantine and COVID-19 and everything that's going on. So I want to share with you today, but whenever I think about those things, I kind of get like overwhelmed and maybe even, I wouldn't say depressed, but maybe discouraged is the word. But whenever I get discouraged, I try to think of others. And just in the past couple of days, whenever I think of others, I think about the seniors in our youth group. And man, we have a great group of seniors this year. We have Braden, and we have Julia and Emily and Abby. And then maybe there's some others that come in and out. Like I know Tallway's been around a couple times, and I really haven't even met all the seniors yet. So I'm probably leaving somebody out today. But just the thought of them being, of you guys being sent home, and you don't know what the future holds, and you're going to miss prom and maybe even a graduation ceremony, and just different things that come along. And then how about the ones that play sports? I know Emily plays softball in the spring, and I know her season's canceled, and I know Tallway was a pretty awesome volleyball player. So even Abby's going to go to college in France, and I'm sure that she has a lot of questions now too, because she was supposed to go visit over there from my conversations I had with her. So whenever I think of seniors, man, I think, man, this is a really rough time, and I just want to let you know you guys are in my prayers right now, and I've been praying for you daily. But on top of all those changes that are coming along really quickly, we also have a transition in the youth group. And the thing is that Morgan and Josh have been ministering here at the church for 3.5 years. So that means that for the seniors, they've been here your whole entire high school career. And you have another transition coming on you at the same time. Man, that's a lot to take in at one time. So in telling you that, I just want to tell you a story today from 1 Corinthians 3. And see, Paul was a missionary, and he was a church planter, and he planted this church, and then he moved on, and whenever he heard word back from this church that he planted there, he heard that they were quarreling and jealous of each other, and it really made him upset. And in this chapter 3, he really calls the people of the church out, and he says, hey, you guys are arguing about this crazy stuff, and you shouldn't be doing it all. You guys are saying like, hey, I only follow Paul, and I only follow Apollos, and I don't care what this guy says, or I'm not part of this group. Where's our leader at? And the thing is that Paul's so frustrated. He writes this letter back and says, stop doing that. He goes, I planted the seed, and Apollos watered the seed, but God is the one who makes it grow. It's neither one of these guys. Neither one of those guys are the ones that make it grow. So they're both working together, doing the exact same thing by what God has called them to do. And this is the type of message that I like to share during transition. Because at times, someone will say, hey, I follow Pastor Mark, and then I follow this pastor, And the thing is that it's all God who makes the person grow. So in this transition, we have Morgan and Josh who have invested so much of their lives and brought you along in this spiritual path, and then they're moving on somewhere else to do the same thing of what God's called them to do. And then I'm going to come in, I'm going to share, and even the kids who are in our junior high group right now, if you guys are out there, just you're going to have yet another youth pastor. And what I got to say about that is that these different periods of your time, there's going to be someone who's going to come in and invest and pull you along, whether it's high school or college or after you get married and move somewhere else. You'll have somebody who influences you spiritually. And that's what these people are called for. Paul calls these people co-workers with God. And you're going to have many of these co-workers with God throughout your life that's going to make an impact. So my suggestion to you is to just think about everything that Morgan and Josh has taught you, and then get ready for maybe what Scott and the couple new youth workers are going to pour into you, and then maybe what someone's going to pour into you at college, or even maybe on down the road. So with that being said, I just want to share with you that the best way for me to get in contact with you is probably through text message or Instagram. But here's the thing is I don't have anyone's contact numbers or the best way to get a hold of you. So at the bottom of the screen right now, you can see my phone number. And what I would ask or request for you is for you to text me. So I can text you back and say, hey, Scott, this is the best way to get a hold of me. Or if you don't have a phone or you don't like to text very often, my Instagram is going to be at the bottom of the page also. And if you just send me a direct message or just say, or even become my friend, and then at least I know that I can get a hold of you. Because this ministry that we're going to do for the next maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks might be just a little text message or phone call, or maybe sharing small videos like this about what God is doing in our lives. So that's all I have for this week. I hope you watch this and come back next week to see what I have for you next week. Thank you.